There was a time when humans were prey, not predators, not rulers, not masters of anything. We were meat, moving targets in a world designed to consume us. The darkness held teeth, the forests held claws, and every moment of existence was a negotiation with death. Yet somehow, against impossible odds, we survived. And then we did something no other species had ever done. We bent the world to our will. We built empires from mud and ambition. We carved order from chaos. We became civilized. But what does that word really mean? And what did we sacrifice to get here? Imagine waking up without a roof, without a door to lock, without the promise of tomorrow. For most of human history, this was life. Tens of thousands of years spent moving, hunting, fleeing. We lived in bands of no more than a few dozen people. Everyone you ever knew, everyone you would ever know, could fit around a single fire. There were no cities, no laws, no kings or kingdoms. There was only survival. You did not think about purpose. You thought about food, about shelter, about whether the creature watching you from the shadows was faster than you were. Death was constant. Injury meant death. Infection meant death. Winter meant death. And yet there was something pure in that existence. No inequality because there was nothing to hoard. No war because there were no borders. No hierarchy because everyone was equally fragile. Humanity was free, but freedom in that world came at a price written in blood. And then something changed. It began quietly, so quietly that no one alive at the time could have understood what was happening. In the hills of the Fertile Crescent, in the valleys of the Nile, in the plains of China, humans stopped running. They settled. They planted seeds and waited for them to grow. Agriculture was not a miracle. It was a gamble, a slow, painful gamble that took generations to pay off. But it worked. Fields replaced forests. Surplus replaced scarcity. For the first time in history, humans could produce more food than they needed to survive. And with surplus came everything else. When you have extra grain, you can feed people who do not farm, craftsmen, builders, priests, warriors. With agriculture came specialization. With specialization came society. With society came something humanity had never known before: power. The first cities rose like mountains from the mud. Uruk, Babylon, Memphis, Mohenjo-Daro, names that echo across millennia, thousands of people living together, bound not by blood but by something far stranger: ideas, systems, laws. Civilization was not natural. It required invention. You had to invent property so people knew what they owned. You had to invent writing so agreements could outlast memory. You had to invent authority so disputes could be settled without everyone killing each other. The Sumerians pressed symbols into clay. The Egyptians raised pyramids that kissed the sky. The Indus Valley built cities with drainage systems more advanced than anything Europe would see for 3,000 years. These were not accidents. These were acts of collective will. Humanity had learned to cooperate at a scale that defied nature. We had learned to dream together, and those dreams became stone, became law, became civilization. But dreams, like empires, always come with costs. Civilization demanded structure, and structure demanded hierarchy. In the wild, all humans were equal in their vulnerability, but in the city, some rose and others fell. Farmers fed soldiers, soldiers protected priests, priests justified kings, and kings ruled absolutely, not because they were stronger, but because the system said they should. Order was the price of survival. You surrendered freedom for security. You obeyed laws so that others would obey them too. You accepted your place in the pyramid because the alternative was chaos. And it worked. Civilizations built roads that stretched for thousands of miles, aqueducts that carried water across deserts, armies that conquered continents, libraries that preserved knowledge for centuries. Humanity had become powerful, but power is never evenly distributed, and the systems we built to bring order also brought something else: control. Civilization created wonders, but it also created chains. For every emperor, there were 10,000 slaves. For every palace, there were 100 hovels. The surplus that made cities possible also made inequality inevitable. Those who controlled the grain controlled the people. Those who controlled the people controlled the world. And when civilizations grew too rigid, too corrupt, too certain of their own permanence, they fell. Babylon crumbled, Rome collapsed, the Maya vanished into the jungle. History is a graveyard of empires that believed they were eternal. Civilization, it turns out, is fragile. It requires constant maintenance, constant belief. The moment people stop agreeing to the rules, the structure dissolves. The cities empty, the roads crack, and the wild returns. We built civilization to escape the chaos of nature, but we brought that chaos with us, wrapped it in laws and borders and gods, and when the systems failed, the chaos broke free. Today we live in the most complex civilization humanity has ever known. We have conquered the earth. We have built machines that think. We have walked on the moon and peered into the origins of the universe. By every measure, we are the most advanced species that has ever existed. And yet, we still divide ourselves into tribes, we still fight over resources, we still build hierarchies that lift some and crush others. We still teeter on the edge of collapse, convinced of our permanence even as the ice melts and the systems strain. Are we truly civilized? Or have we simply become very sophisticated at pretending we are? The word civilization comes from the Latin civilis, meaning citizen. To be civilized is to belong to a city, to a community, to something greater than yourself. But what happens when the city forgets its citizens, when the community devours its own? Perhaps civilization is not a destination. Perhaps it is a process. A daily choice to cooperate, to build, to believe that the structure will hold for one more day. Our ancestors made that choice when they planted the first seeds, when they raised the first walls, when they agreed to live by rules they did not fully understand, in the hope that their children would inherit something better. We are the inheritors of that hope. And the question we must ask ourselves is simple: what will we leave behind? From savagery to civilization, humanity has climbed an impossible ladder, but every rung we ascend reveals another above us, and below, the darkness waits, patient and endless, ready to swallow those who forget how far they can fall. The story of civilization is not over. It has only just begun. Like and subscribe for more stories on man and civilization.